Hi, this is Marc, and I'm going to do the reading from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda, and this is for today, May 30th. Okay, the topic, at least you should know why you are not seeing God. Once a young man went to Sri Ramakrishna and said, "Sir, I want to see God right away." And Sri Ramakrishna said, "Before you see God, we will go to the Ganges so you can take a bath." He took the young man to the Ganges and said, "All right, dip." But when he dipped into the water, Sri Ramakrishna held him under. Immediately, the devotee started fighting for his breath. When the saint realized that he would not be able to stay under the water any longer, he let him up. As the young man stood gasping on the riverbank, Sri Ramakrishna asked him, "What were you thinking while you were in the water? Were you thinking of your money, your wife, your son, your name, your fame, your profession?" "All I was thinking about was a little air." Aha! When you can think of God like that, your higher power or universal consciousness, you will see it right away. Now you know what kind of one-pointed yearning for God is required. I don't expect everyone to get that point right away, but at least you should know why you are not seeing God. You cannot blame anyone else for it, although sometimes people try to. They blame the technique or the teacher or the mantram. You really don't even need any technique, any mantram, anything if you have that kind of one-pointed mind. I appreciate how Swami Satchidananda gives that very specific understanding at the end. It's not the thing that's going to make sure that we get what we want, like the mantram or the technique, how many hours we do it a day, how many years we've been practicing. It's about the one-pointed mind that can see past all the obstacles, all of the things that the ego usually gets wrapped up in. But what I think Swami Satchidananda also knows, and this has been my experience, is that while, yes, on one level, we can think those aren't going to be obstacles or we'll be able to get past them, typically our worldly self does get intertwined and gets caught. So we need something that helps us unwind from all of those illusions, unwind from all the attachments and aversions, and something that'll help us to tune our vibration. And so that's why we need things like a mantram that we can focus all of our effort on. We can be that one, have that one-pointed mind. It's so challenging because we are also, we live in this linear world where we want to put one thing in front of the other and we want to try to feel like we're advancing based off of external factors, degrees, titles, material things, family, all of these types of markers that help us feel like we're making the right kind of progress in the world. But is that just deepening us into the material world and having us forget that there is something greater that we might want to consider building a stronger relationship with? I thought of my father, my Japanese father, and I don't often talk much about him, and I've actually had a few conversations recently with some people who said, "We never really hear about your father." And it's because, my stepfather who raised me passed away in 2012. And my biological father, who my mom divorced when I was 2.5 years old, I've really not had the chance to get to know him. But it's now at this time in his life where he is starting to recognize his mortality and that his, time might be limited, that he's becoming more interested in wanting to get to know me and wanting to have conversations that feel balanced and mutual, which means for, in this situation, where he wants to learn a little bit more about me. Mostly it's been me learning about him, because he's done so much in his life, so much amazing work, and it's always like I can be an audience sitting and listening and watching him share all of his achievements. But that doesn't happen anymore, or hasn't happened in these recent months, where it's more of his interest in wanting to learn about what I'm doing. And for me to get to share what my life presently is about, it feels really cool. And it's as though that kind of getting dumped under water, where all the other things, because he's feeling that shortening, I guess, of time now, maybe for the first time in his life, that there's a different curiosity. And I hope that I don't have to wait, until that time in my life to think about what is really important and meaningful. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just, it's a process and it's all happening the way it needs to go. I'm not judging and not feeling like it should have been any different, actually. I think I'm in a place where I'm able to receive it and be really grateful that there's any of that possibility for that, because I pretty much figured it wasn't going to be the case in my lifetime. And I'm recognizing the importance now, as he's talking about, what will happen when he passes, that I want to be sure, and I got to say that to him, be sure that I get to be able to get the things from him that are from our Morozumi family that have any importance to him, because I don't really know what they are, and I would like to have those things. I grew up seeing some of these things on occasion, but I don't even know what some of these things are. I know some of the stories about our family name, and so that felt good to be able to say that's what I'm interested in. I don't care about money or anything else. I just would like to know a little bit more about my history and my family culture. And as I'm preparing for our BIPOC teacher training that's coming up, it's just all very powerful timing. And I feel even more of an imperative to build that relationship to my ancestry and to honor that. It's always been part of my prayer in the mornings to consciously make a connection with my ancestors and spirit guides and guardian angel and that type of thing. So I always ask for that guidance, but it's interesting to now feel more of a direct connection. And interesting how, what does it take for things to rise up to the surface? That we're learning how to manage holding our breath it's like comfortable enough, but what if we really get to that point where we want to come up for air, or we get to come up for air and there's that second life? What is that, and what do we focus on? And can we start doing that now and help others in our world, so we're not getting so pulled into me, mine, I, me, mine, which is, I think, often what happens, where things escalate and then we have people wanting to harm one another. It might seem like this impossible feat to want to minimize that in a global way, but I just figure the more of us that can start thinking this way and offer these kind of teachings, and then inspire other teachers who will get to people I wouldn't reach, and then for those people to teach people who they wouldn't reach. That's why education to me is such a key component of transformation, and to start with as young as we can, to inspire and inform, and then work with those who are older who have interest. So I'm grateful that I still feel the energy for that, and to do these readings, because I learned so much, and hopefully this was useful for you today. So thanks for being a part of this process for me that's been imperfect, but it's also been perfectly imperfect. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.